Today I have a very special guest with me. I am so excited to introduce you to her. Sort of kidding. I've got Sophie here in the recording studio with me, and Sophie's my 3-year-old daughter. Do you want to say hi, Soph?
Hi.
And do you want to say anything else? Like, I hope you have a good day?
Have a good day.
Yeah. So we're going to see if we can get through this whole episode with my lovely Soph here. Or not. Not sure how this is going to pan out, but I have asked her to be quiet through this recording, and we will see how this goes. Okay, so I have something exciting. Let's go ahead and dive in. If you identify as a daughter of an emotionally immature, narcissistic, or toxic mother, then you very likely also identify as a perfectionist, as someone who struggles with anxiety or has high functioning anxiety, and possibly you also feel emotionally volatile instead of in control of your emotions and your reactions. And a lot of times people don't connect that the reason they are a high achiever and have these perfectionist tendencies and also feel anxious, they don't connect that that's related to having a narcissistic mother. And it very often is. So, in order to embrace imperfection and step out of anxiety so that you are no longer feeling and consider, basically so that you no longer consider yourself as anxious by default, or to feel in control of your emotions and your reactions, there are 3 pillars that you must embody. So I'm going to just repeat that just to make sure that was clear. If you want to step out of perfectionism, reduce your anxiety, and feel in control of your emotions and your reactions, there's 3 pillars that you must embody. Otherwise, what is going to happen? You will stay stuck. You will consider this as just the way that you are, and you may just accept that this is life and not experience the amount of joy that is there for you. So in this episode, I'm going to dive into 3 pillars, but before I do, I want to talk to you a little bit more about what you may be experiencing. So if you're that high achieving woman and you have been trying to ditch perfectionism and anxiety, but you still struggle to feel calmer and relaxed, you may be stuck in something called the avoidance worry cycle. And if you are, then you have likely been experiencing one or more of the following problems that I'm going to list. And that is, you worry nearly every single day, anticipating all of the bad things that will happen at work, at home, with your family, etc. Number 2, you replay your interactions at least twice a month, wondering how you could have handled the conversation differently. Number 3, you agree to do things you don't want to do at least 3 times a week to make other people happy. Number 4, you second guess yourself nearly every single day, even for rather small decisions. And then number 5, you sugarcoat what you say on a regular basis because you don't want to upset the other person, or you're scared to express your true feelings. If you are experiencing one or more of those problems, you may be making a few mistakes. So I just want to bring those to light. 1, you may label yourself as an anxious person and just accept that that is who you are. You may try to drown out the negative thoughts that pop in your head by telling yourself, stop it, or maybe putting something positive on, like an audio book or a podcast, or maybe scrolling social media to get it off your mind. And you may actively avoid sharing things about yourself because you're anxious that you will be judged by others. I'm just going to pause here and acknowledge how amazing Sophie's doing in the recording studio today. Brief intermission. Why is she here? Well, one of my best friends is in labor right now, and Why would a child be here if she's in labor? I know it doesn't quite add up, but basically I'm trying to get this podcast recorded so that I can go see her baby as soon as she has it. So Sophie didn't want to go outside with Daddy, so Ed has Annabella, and Sophie's here with me, and we're just making it work. Like, this is life, right? So, there we go. Okay, be quiet. Mama's going to keep going. All right, so we talked about the problems that you may be experiencing. We talked about the mistakes that you may be making that may actually be keeping you stuck experiencing what you don't want to experience. And like I said before, if you've been trying to ditch perfectionism and anxiety and you've been struggling to feel calm and relaxed, there are 3 things that you need to focus on. And what are those 3 things? 1, analyze data. 2, activate choice. And 3, absolute acceptance. So I want to go through these in detail so that you can understand the benefits of embracing these and also what happens when you don't. So when you combine and master the first 2, analyze data and activate choice, what you get is a genuine feeling of control. I know my perfectionists out there, they are self-identified for the most part control freaks, right? But what happens when you don't have control? Most of you admittedly have shared with me, you freak out and you don't want to be that way. So this is a genuine feeling of control over yourself and your emotions and how you show up. So I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on this. So basically, you understand exactly what to do when emotions rise. You understand what is causing right now the automatic emotional reactions that you have so that they're no longer automatic for you. And you have the ability to react in a way that you feel proud of. And so that you are in control of your triggers rather than feeling controlled by them. So I want to just circle back. Hold on 1 second, baby. Do this. I just want to circle back to understanding like what is causing these automatic emotional reactions. When you combine these 2, they, like I said, they won't be those automatic reactions anymore, and you will have a sense of feeling like you choose how you show up in the world. And when clients embrace these, what I hear from them is that they feel proud and they feel in control. So if you only have analyze data and activate choice, but you're missing this absolute acceptance piece, then there's some specific pains that will rise for you. So as you hear me list this, I want you to think through and really feel through, is this my experience? You won't be as happy. You'll feel a sense of stress almost all the time. And you may constantly feel like the world is against you. Like, oh, of course this would happen to me, or why is this happening, or I don't want to feel this way, or why would they do this? Why would they do this when talking about others? And in terms of like, this shouldn't be happening when thinking about basically anything, like what's happening for your kids or your family or at work. And it's just a sense of like, the world is against me and I have to fight my way through it. You will also probably have increased irritation, and not just during that point in your cycle, and beat yourself up on a regular basis. And I'm not talking about like crazy beating yourself up. That might be the case, but maybe not. But you may punish yourself and feel like, well, I have to be hard on myself or I will never get better. And this is really keeping you stuck in perfectionism and makes it harder to make the changes that you want in yourself. Now, when you combine and master the next 2 pillars, activate choice and absolute acceptance, what you get is freedom and confidence. You are no longer struggling with that negative self-talk that I talked about, and the experience that you will have is just feeling unfazed by others. just like not fazed by the drama. It doesn't rile you up. You get it, you know what's happening, and it's not like you've just like, oh, whatever, I don't care. No, it's like a genuine feeling of being unfazed. I have to tell you, I was, the other day, I was eating dinner with one of my friends. We were out to have sushi, and I was telling her about my delivery with Sophie and that I forgot to bring a shirt to wear home. So I had to wear the shirt that I wore to the hospital. And she was like, oh my gosh, that is so on brand for you. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you just like go in and you're like, oh, well, figure it out, and are not fazed by it. So what she doesn't know, because she hasn't known me my whole life, but what I want you to know, I was not born like this. This is not just like who I am. This is a concrete skill that these tools have built in me so that things happening external to me are not riling me up on a regular basis. And I don't know about you, but that's something that I wanted for decades. Okay, so what else happens when you combine activating choice with absolute acceptance? You feel free of perfectionism, and you also have reduced anxiety so that it is no longer your default. And you also have this increased belief in yourself, this increased confidence, so that imposter syndrome melts away, and you know without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what, you can handle whatever comes your way. All right, I just got excited listening to that because I'm like, yes, these are freaking powerful tools and I want you to have them. I really do. Okay, anyways, moving on. So if you have activate choice and absolute acceptance, but you are missing analyzed data, specific pain will arise for you. And the thing is that you won't be addressing the root cause of your triggers. And when you first hear that, you might be like, so what? That's fine. It's not. Because when you don't address the root cause, you essentially put a Band-Aid on the situation. And what does that mean? You will still be controlled by your triggers. The whole point is to move away from that so that you're no longer controlled by your triggers. I want you to picture going out in the garden right now and there's weeds everywhere. And what you're going to do is just like trim the top of the weed rather than pulling the roots out. Okay, so you can think of the Band-Aid situation with yourself when we address the symptoms as trimming the top of the weed versus pulling the root out is addressing the root cause of the situation so that you don't have to deal with that weed anymore. That weed is gone forever. There may be other weeds that pop up, but this is just a metaphor. All right. If you have activate choice and absolute acceptance, but you're missing analyzed data, what else happens? You don't have clarity on the question, why am I like this? I know if you're here, there's a good chance that you've probably asked yourself this. And I don't want you to feel that way. I want you to know exactly why you are like this and how to overcome it, and so that you don't have that broken feeling anymore. All other pains that come up when we are missing this analyzed data piece is that you may continue to feel guarded and you may not feel emotions. So there's like lots of anxiety and anger because you're not using your emotions as data. So if that was confusing, you're like, wait a second, I'm feeling my emotions all the time. What happens with anxiety and anger is there's suppression of emotions before that results in the anxiety and the anger. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Now, let's keep going. Sophie is doing great. She's like cutting stuff in the background and we're good. So happy this is working out. let's jump back into it. When you combined and master the next two, absolute acceptance and analyzing data, what do you get from that? You get to feel happy and calm. And another way to think about that is you have reduced anxiety, reduced rage, reduced anger, and you really understand the cause of those previously automatic emotional reactions, so that you no longer have these regular automatic reactions, and then you are the one in control. Now, you'll also experience increased happiness, like I said, reduced stress, and just overall feel calmer. And I don't know anybody that doesn't want to feel that. So I'm so happy that you're here. And finally, if you have absolute acceptance and analyzing data, but you're missing the activate choice piece, what will happen? You will feel stuck and have this feeling of like, I know I want to change this, but I don't know how. This is the key to answering how. And you might also find yourself saying, like, I just want to feel different, but I can't stop feeling these things. One context where I feel this a lot is like people feel guilty, whether it's mom guilt or any kind of guilt. And they're like, I don't want to feel guilty. Well, the answer to ditching guilt is activating choice. That's the answer. And you'll no longer have this like, oh, this is just the way that I am, because you'll know without a shadow of a doubt that it is not just the way that you are, and you can show up as your authentic self that you might even not really know who she is because she's been hiding for so long in self-protection. Okay. So when you combine these together, you get a beautiful effect of feeling free. Now, I have to admit, I don't have clients coming to me saying, I want to feel free. But after they work with me, they're like, oh my gosh, I feel so free and confident and happy and proud of myself and in control. And that's what you get when you combine these three. And sorry, Sophie walked up and I got a little distracted, but we're just rolling with it, keeping it real. Now, you have to have them all working together. That's the thing. And so that's what I tried to walk you through, is like when you're missing one piece, these are the things that are going to be showing up for you. So if you need to listen to this a second time to really identify like, oh, what piece am I missing, so that you can hone in and get that piece so that you have the answer, so that you can overcome all of those problems that I was referencing at the beginning of this podcast, plus everything that I went through when I was going through each of the pillars. That is the golden ticket. So again, if you have any of these problems that I went over, I guarantee you're missing one of the three pillars. And I am happy to talk to you more about this, happy to answer any questions. And I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know how this episode was for you, and I'll see you next Tuesday.